Hey, what's going on, guys? Marcus Castelli here, and I'm so excited and welcome back to I'm going to be teaching you guys exactly how to change your life with a productivity hack. If you're somebody who's been struggling with getting things done, just for being productive in your life, or you find that it's hard for you to get tasks done. I know me personally, there's times where I've had tasks in the past I want to get done, and then I'm like, hey, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do the next day. Then it's like a month later and I still haven't done the task. So if you're somebody who struggles with being productive and you want to overcome procrastination, laziness, and you want to become a productive machine that gets things done, I'm going to show you a simple hack that's going to literally change your entire life. So let me just get right into it and share with you guys. This is going to be life changing. Let's get straight into it. Let's get my pen, my marker over here. So what is this called? This is called the one more premise, right? And this is how the one more premise works. How the one more premise works is this: when you are doing something, let's say you are working on your business, you're working out, right? You're doing anything hard. How the one more premise works is this: let's say you were, I don't know, writing email copies to send out to your list, right? And you get one email done, and you get to the point where you feel like you are burnt out. You're like, all right, I don't want to do anymore. You're like, I'm done. I'm gonna go sit down and watch some TV, and you still know you have like 10 more emails to do. What you do is you tell yourself one more, right? So when you get to the point of exhaustion, you get to the point where you want to stop, you just tell yourself, let me just do one more, right? You say, let me just do one more email. Or if you're at the gym and you're running, and I've done this, it's helped out a lot, where I'll go and I'll run, and in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna do a mile. I'm gonna do a mile run, go on the treadmill, and then I get to a mile, and then I'm like, you know what? Let me just do one more mile. Or I'm bench pressing, I'm like, you know what? I get to the point where I have gotten my reps, I'm like, let me just do one more, right? And when what happens when you do that is you start to get momentum. And momentum is huge and very powerful, because what you know is that an object in motion, so let's say a car, let me draw your car, right? An object in motion, so this is my car right here. Put some wheels on the car. This is my Tesla Y, Model Y right here. And what happens is when the car is going, I'm gonna put some tailwinds back here, and the car is in motion, it is much harder to get that car to stop. Matter of fact, you need brakes inside of here. So you have your brakes on all four of the wheels to get the car to stop going. Because what happens? The car is already in motion, it's going forth. So it's way harder to get that car to stop as opposed to when a car is already parked, right? So the same thing applies when you're doing a tough task. When you are already in motion, you're doing a tough task, and you just say one more, it's much easier to get that next task done because you're already in motion. And now to get the next task done, but that one more, you're gonna continue to do the next task. Now, the other benefit of doing this is that it will help you actually build your discipline over time, right? Your longevity of discipline actually gonna get pushed further, and you'll be able to be more disciplined to do more work over long periods of time. Because what's happening is you're pushing yourself as you're doing this over the long term, so that you don't stop. Your stopping point over the long term gets pushed further. So let's say, for example, you're somebody who you always do 3 emails a day, and you struggle at getting more than 3 emails a day done, right? If you continue to tell yourself the day you're like, hey, you know what? Let me do one more. And you get 4 emails done. Then the next day you do 4 again. You're like, hey, let me get one more done. It's going to be 5 emails. And then a month from now, 3 months from now, now your point of resistance where you usually would stop. So let's say you'd stop right here. It gets pushed further. Your point of resistance is now getting pushed further out because you keep telling yourself one more, and one more. Because of that, over long periods of time, you'll now be more disciplined to do longer work over longer periods of time, which will mean you'll be more productive. Now, here's the next thing. You'll continuously get more work done, and your ceiling now becomes your new floor. So just consider this. For example, sports athletes, or me myself, right? There was a period in my life where I couldn't sit down and write 10 emails, or I couldn't sit down and work on my business for 6 or 8 hours a day, right? And then when I first started, I probably could put in like an hour a day before my head hurt. And that was like my floor, that was my ceiling. The ceiling, when I first started, like I probably put an hour a day, my head would hurt, I'd go down and watch TV. That was my ceiling. But then what happened was, as I started to push myself more, started doing more work, right? Using the one more premise, hey, let me just put another hour in. Let me put another hour in. What happened is, what was once my floor, so my floor might have been 1 hour, right? And then my ceiling, let's say my ceiling, like the max I could do was probably like maybe 3 hours a day of work, right? So this is my floor. So we put a floor, and this is my ceiling, right? This is my ceiling. What happens is, as I continue to push myself to keep doing one more every single day, what's going to happen is my ceiling is not going to become my new floor. So what you're going to see is you're then going to build a habit where instead of it being that my ceiling was 3 hours, my floor is going to be 3 hours. So now it's going to be like 3 hours a day is going to feel easy. Then my new floor might be like, maybe I can only put, my new floor is 3 hours. My new ceiling is going to be like, so ceiling probably going to be like 5 hours a day now. Because now my discipline has been built up even more. Let me go wipe this down real quick, right? Because now what's happening is my ceiling is now being pushed and my floor is now being pushed. So now my standards are now higher and it becomes more natural to me. So one of the people that I've learned a lot from is Grant Cardone. I remember back in 2015, I was watching a video about Grant Cardone. He's talking about how, people don't really know the amount of work he puts into his business. And he said he had a guy at one time was asking to just trail him, just to kind of like, because he wanted to learn from him, wanted to mentor him, and he was trailing him just to see like what he does on a daily basis. And the funny thing was that the guy just went to 1 day of work. He didn't even finish out the whole day of work with him. I think he said he spent like maybe 4 hours with him. And he told Grant, hey man, thanks for the opportunity, but I can't do this. He was like, you work so hard that I literally physically cannot do this. Like, it's too much for him. Like, he's like, it's too much for me. I just cannot do the workload that you're doing. Right. And the reason why he couldn't was because his ceiling, like we're talking about, his ceiling, so his capacity, he was past his capacity because he had not built that regiment that Grant had built over time. Right. So his ceiling was not even Grant's floor. So his ceiling was probably like right here. This is the guy's ceiling right here. And Grant's floor is probably like right here. And Grant's ceiling is probably like sky high compared to where your ceiling is at, right? So, but Grant didn't start off that way. What happened was, as Grant continued to build that discipline over time, that's how he got to the ceiling that he got at. So that's why that guy, he couldn't even handle that type of workload, right? Or that type of productivity. But how you get there is with the one more premise. Because what happens is, as you continue to practice this, as you continue to put in the efforts day in and day out and just say one more, you're going to start pushing yourself past your ceiling. Then what you're going to see when you look back, the workload that you used to think was a lot becomes easy for you. Because now you've built up this longer tolerance of discipline to get more work done, right, in a period of time. Now, the next thing also is that there's a high chance you're going to actually work past that one more pass point. Because what happens is this, an object that's in motion is hard to stop. So when you already are in motion doing something, you find it very easy that when you didn't complete that task, so let's say you're like, hey, let me do the one more email. You didn't, or you finish all your emails. Then what happens is you think of the next thing that you got to get done. Hey, let me just go and just bang this out right now. So I'm like, hey, I get my 10 emails done. I feel like I did one more. Then I'm like, no, let me just go do one more task. Let me just go get this video done. Right. And that's because I've already gotten in the action of doing something. I already have that momentum built up. So this is what we want to do. We want to start actually using that momentum to our advantage, right? And then what happens is this. The funny thing is that the one more premise is actually something that you already use. You probably are not even aware of. So let me break it down to you so I get a better pen. Let me wipe this down for you real quick. And I'm going to explain this to this. This is actually, you actually use the one more premise for procrastination. And I'm going to show you how to use it. And most people do it. And not you. Maybe you might not. But I'm saying most people because I've done it. A lot of people have done it. I'm going to show you how a lot of people actually use the one more premise to procrastinate and be lazy. Right? I've done this, and I know this. A lot of you guys might be familiar with this, but this is about to blow your mind. This is something that you already do, but you're just using it in the wrong way, or you might be using it in the wrong way. I know I have in the past. I wasn't aware that I was doing this. So one thing that people do that they actually, how they use the one more premise to procrastinate is like this. Hold on, if this is not wet, this is still wet. It's like this. What they do is, so this is how you use it for, put over here, procrastination. I know I wrote this horrible. This is sloppy. They use it for procrastination. I'm just trying to write it quick, so I'll take time. So they use it for procrastination is this. Let's say you are watching TV. So this is you. It's TV, right? And then me and my wife does this. So this is me. This is my wife right here, right? And what we'll do is we'll be in bed. Here's the bed right here. And we're standing in bed, I know. There's the pillows. Because of crazy people, we stand in bed watching TV because of crazy people. We're watching TV. And what'll happen is we'll be watching TV and we'll watch a series, and it'll be like really good. One of the shows we're actually watching right now is House. I love House. House is something I used to watch back when I was younger, and we actually just started watching it on Peacock. So sometimes at night we'll watch House. Whenever we get a chance, like on Fridays or whatever, we want to spend time together, watch House. And what'll happen is this: we'll watch House, and it'll be a really good episode, and we'll be like, and I'll be like, I'm gonna lie, I'm guilty. I'm the culprit. I'll do it a lot. Or I'm like, let's just watch one more episode, right? And then we'll watch one more episode, and then one episode quickly turns into 2 episodes. Or sometimes, being dangerous, it turns into 3 episodes. Then before you know it, you stayed up an extra 2-3 hours, and you're like, oh my goodness, like I was supposed to only watch 1 episode, and then it turned to 3 because I said one more. And you see, you do this even with like playing video games or eating sweets or something like that. You'd be like, hey, let me get 1 piece of pie. Then 1 piece of pie, like, oh, let me just get 1 more. Then quickly it turns into like you've eaten the entire pie by yourself, right? I've done that before where I'm like, hey, let me just get 1 more piece of pie, and I eat the entire pie by myself. And it's all because of the one more premise, because now I've gotten that momentum. It's much more harder to stop yourself once you watch that 1 episode of a series, right? You watch that first episode, the second episode, now you've done binge watch the entire series in a weekend because you're like, let me just do 1 more. Then the momentum starts, and it's hard to get yourself to stop. Now, here's why this works so well. And I want you guys to understand something. This is actually neuroscience. It's actually proven to work through neuroscience. And this is something I came up with. I wish I could take credit and say that I've come with this by myself, but it's actually proven through neuroscience, right? And what it says is that this is called the foot in the door principle in psychology, where it becomes significantly easier to continue with a task that you have started. So it's the foot in the door. So once you have the foot in the door, you've done the one thing, it is much easier to now continue to go because you already started that action, that momentum. So whenever you find yourself where you're having a hard time doing a task, just do that first thing. You do the first thing, then you get the first thing done, just say 1 more. Let me just get 1 more thing done. Now you start that momentum. It's going to be much easier for you to get the next task done. The next thing that you need to get done. The next thing that you need to get done in the day, right? And the other thing is, once people commit, so this is psychological right here. Once people commit to a course of action, even a small one, they feel obligated to follow through to maintain consistency. And sorry, I got kids, so you probably hear in the background. My son, he's 1 year old. He's throwing a tantrum. So sometimes you might hear my videos, just being real with you. But what happens is, right, once somebody starts one small obligate, right, they start one action, they then feel obligated to follow through and maintain consistency. This is why, like, our brains hate open loops. So an open loop is something that you've started and you haven't finished. That's why our brain will go crazy when it's like, when you see something and you don't know the ending to it. Because our brain it always wants loops to be closed, right? So let's say for example, you start watching a movie and you stop like halfway through. Your brain and like your subconscious mind is trying to figure out, okay, now it's trying to piece it all together. What happened to this guy? What happened to that guy? How did the story actually end? And it hates that, right? So what happens is the same thing with tasks. So when you start a task, this is why you usually feel good. So let's say you start going to the gym, and then you're like, I'm committed to going to the gym. I'm going to get a 6-pack, whatever. And then you stop going to the gym. This is why you tend to feel guilty like a month later, weeks later, because it's like you never finished that task. So you opened the loop, but you did not close it, right? Same thing with your work. Now that you started the work, if you don't finish it, you start to feel bad later on when you start thinking about it. It's like, I didn't get that task done, right? And us as humans, we like to finish what we've already started. Once we start something, we feel obligated to finish it, to maintain consistency. Also, by agreeing to one small request, people agree to a following request, right? And larger requests to maintain consistency and fulfill a perceived obligation. So just like I was talking about earlier, when you do one small task, so it might be, let me do my emails for the day. Now, you're going to feel more obligated to finish the rest of what you had done for the day. So let's say you have a list, your top 3 things to get done for the day. You get that first thing done, you now feel obligated to do the rest because you've already started, right? As humans, this is how we perceive. So literally, psychologically, this works. But this is the productivity hack that will literally help change your life. Now, I hope this helped you guys out. If you have any questions, put it below. I always put out content to help, like I said, entrepreneurs, business owners, just people who are ambitious and want to improve your life. And I believe that, or it's truth, that 80% of success starts with your brain. 20% of it is actually the actions, right? So you first have to change your thought process to get the results that you want. But I hope this helped you guys out. If you have any questions, put it below. If you don't agree with this, you can put it below, right? Or this content just helps you out, let me know. I love putting stuff out for you guys. I love seeing the comments you guys have. I reply back to every single comment that comes in as well. And if this helps just one person become more productive, this just changes one person's life, then I've achieved my goal, right? I put out content to help you guys out to become better, right? And yeah, so I'll see you on the next video. And yeah.